Little mama is rich.
Little Sekia is going to private school for the rest of her life, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm. Unless you end up like Antonio Brown.
Bro, I'm just like done. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. I'm so done with this Stephen A. Smith, Bob Myers like panel. It's just not substantive, bro. I get you're gonna be the president in 4 years, but like we don't want to see you talking about basketball anymore. If you're gonna be playing cards in the middle of NBA games.
You think Chuck and Shaq not gonna clown him next year?
Oh my God.
It was funny. Like whenever on First Take, he was like, I'm Stephen A. and I approve this message. I was like, he even got the thumbs up down.
Just go to politics, bro. That's your true passion at this point. Is politics.
Man makes almost more CNN appearances than he does his own show now. Yeah, it's like every week he's on there.
Now you know you got to get the clapper. Get the clapper. Because you didn't do it last time.
We didn't waste
and it's backwards. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Ready, Evan?
Wes, give me my jingle. Let's do it.
That stupid ass clap. That stupid ass clap. Back in the midweek trap. The Pacers lost in 7. The real MVP won. Superstar SGA. Everett, we miss you, dog.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, Midweek Athlete Pod. We got our boy in the building. Vala, the homie, is back. Last time he was here, we damn near went on a 2-hour episode, so you already know this is about to be a good one. Man, a lot to talk about. I really just want to say it, but I'm gonna wait because there's something I want to do. So Vala, I want to ask you a question. We have this reel on Instagram, which y'all need to keep pushing this reel.
Here we
KG
go.
versus Dirk. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Now we're not talking about the better player here. Who, in your opinion, had the better career, Dirk or KG?
You blindsided me with this one. There was no pre-pod talk of this. There was no pre-discussion.
Going right into it.
I'm a big historian of the 2000s power forward movement, which was the last vestige of power forwards in the NBA until we got to where we're at today, where you have like small forwards and shooting guards playing the four. So Dirk and KG that's Mount Rushmore, bro. Like Mount Rushmore of fours in that era is like Duncan, KG, Dirk. Who's the other one you can throw in there? Amari Stoudemire.
You can throw Amari in there.
Beast first
Even
season.
after microfracture, still dominated with the Knicks for a season or two. So if I had to pick one or the other, KG definitely had the storybook ending to his career, right? Going to the most storied franchise in NBA history. He's the watershed Big Three movement origin during the 2010s when he did it with Boston. But for me, Dirk Nowitzki, if you can carry the weight of a franchise on your shoulder and you're the clear 1A on a championship team, and that championship team is arguably 1A or 1B, the most difficult path to an NBA championship ever in 2011. You guys remember, he took out the last vestige of Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge in Portland.
Kobe and Powell.
I think he swept the defending champ, Kobe Lakers, with Ron Artest threatening to murder him under his breath every game. He beat OKC the year before they went to the finals. Yep. And then you go on to beat LeBron and Wade in the first iteration of the Miami Heat Big Three.
The Heatles.
So that, on top of the international impact Dirk had, the ability to get a bucket wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted, pre-Steve Nash, with Steve Nash, post-Steve Nash, whatever. To me, Dirk Nowitzki wins that argument. I think at their peaks, though, if you're comparing who would I want at the peak of their powers, the prime KG, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, took the Wolves with no other superstar to the Western Conference Finals against the God Mode Lakers versus Dirk at his peak. I don't know if I'm trying to win a one-season championship, I might build that team around KG because you've got the two-way impact that he brings as well.
That's what me and Evers were arguing this entire time.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Dirk had Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Michael Finley, Jason Terry, Sean Marion, Tyson Chandler. Like, How many more players? Josh Howard was a quasi or an all-star that year. He was in Vegas. He made the all-star team, I think.
Yes, he did.
So
You're
yeah,
right.
he had
You're right.
all these players, and KG was in Minnesota with Sam Cassell and Latrell Sprewell
For one season.
For one season.
Yeah. But the flip side of that, though, if you're going to play devil's advocate to the argument, you know, you name all these tertiary players, these superstar role players, if you will. You're in the West going up against Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker for a decade.
True. Shaq and
you
Kobe.
got Kobe, Shaq, and his crew, Phil Jackson. Basically, you got to go through them to do anything in the first half of the aughts. And then you've got the Kings who, you know, under Rick Adelman are the most efficient, way ahead of their time offense that we'd seen at that point as well. So being in the West is different, right? Because what most people remember about KG, they don't remember KG in Minnesota.
They don't.
They should. They should.
They should. You're right.
And they will after they watch this podcast. But if you're a millennial in their 30s like us, you grew up watching that KG. You grew up thinking like, bro, the Pistons aren't going to stop the Lakers. KG and the Wolves are the last chance we have at stopping the evil empire. But most people today, like most of you guys watching the episode, you probably remember the Boston Celtics KG, which, you know, is an all-star, all-NBA level player, but he tears his ACL after their first full season together when they win a championship. And he's kind of a shell of himself. You know, he's 32, takes a while to come back, and he's now relegated to a pick-and-pop player with Rondo and their defensive anchor, at least emotionally. So KG has the benefit of recency bias for a lot of fans. But Dirk, the full package, man. I think legacy-wise, it's just I would take Dirk's entire novella versus KG's climax.
I have no issue with that. My counter to that, however, is
Because I said the same thing.
however this, Devin, that I also said, the one thing that Dirk can never say, that KG can say, when I had my full squad, we never lost a playoff series. That Boston team, fully healthy, never lost a playoff series.
And that's fine.
To nobody, right?
fine.
To nobody. KG single-handedly.
To LeBron in 2012.
But they weren't. That was that team. That
Or
was
2013, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that wasn't the 08 team. They had let Posey go, Tony Allen go, Eddie House wasn't there, Ray Allen was gone. That whole team didn't exist no more.
Yeah.
But in their prime, when they first got together, LeBron couldn't get through them. Dwight Howard only beat him because KG was hurt. That was it. Other than that, you were not beat. Kobe only beat him because the thing about it is when Kobe beat him, people forget Kendrick Perkins tore his ACL in Game 6 of that finals. He tore his ACL. He didn't play in Game 7.
Yeah, and that's a big player to lose when you have Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum manning the front court on the other side.
And
That's
yet,
fair.
when he
That's
was
fair.
in Minnesota, he still won an MVP and took him to a conference finals. And let
did.
us not forget,
He did.
for all the Dirk fans out here, and Dirk, I love you, man. I love you so much more than Luka.
No, we don't.
More to come on Luka in the future. In the future of this pod. Do we forget about 06?
07,
Did 06
you mean.
just not happen?
07, you mean?
No, both. 06
Yeah.
and did that? Those just didn't happen. You blowing
You're right.
a 2-0 lead in the finals to D Wade and Shaq and company, and in the next year you win MVP and get bounced in the first round to the Warriors.
So the We Believe Warriors, don't be disrespectful. But yes.
In 06, you also blew a lead to the Mafia, though, right? Because there was a lot of foul calls that went in the favor of the Heat in that finals. I remember, I think D Wade by himself outshot free throws
Oh yeah, our
the
boy JC
entire
will say
Mavericks
that.
team.
He
Our
did.
boy JC will
he did
say
outshoot
that.
them.
Yeah.
So, there's nuances to it. I'm with you guys, but 06, Dirk should have had his ring then. 07,
That was the best team in basketball.
the best team.
that was something. The fact that the Warriors didn't carry that momentum on and go on to lose to a Utah team
Yeah.
that kind of got curb stomped by the Lakers in the conference finals. Like, I wish there was more to that, but I think Dallas, if they get past that horrible matchup, maybe Dirk has another ring to his name during that
Yeah.
season,
Maybe
right?
so.
Could.
We'll
So-
find.
He sure
We would
could.
never know because I don't think they would have beat that Lakers team.
Real quick, though, I said it's 1A, 1B for Dirk as
Yeah.
the toughest run to the finals ever. Y'all know who that other 1A, 1B is I'm referencing?
It would
Toughest
be-
rings.
It's not the 91 Bulls.
Toughest.
We might talk about this team on the podcast today.
It's the Rockets in 94, 95.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
They beat, I think every team they beat on the road. So they were road court disadvantage. They beat a 57, 59, 60, and 62 win team.
Yep.
No other team in playoff history has beaten
that's very true.
4 teams with greater than 57 wins. So shout out to Hakeem Olajuwon. Just want to say that for the podcast.
Shout out to the Dream, man.
Shout out to John Starks for having one of the worst Game 7s ever. Ever.
But before we transition, what I was telling Wes, and I'll tell him this, I'll continue to say this. Everything that KG was defensively, Dirk is offensively.
Facts. That's a
It is. I mean,
good
Wes, it's a fact. I am a 30,000 point scorer. I am number 6 all time.
And
the
I'm
only
a
international
20,000
player.
point scorer.
I'm the only international player in the top 10 scoring. The only. So you say that the defensive player of the year is a deal breaker. I think the Finals MVP is a deal breaker. That's just me.
That's a good point.
The Finals MVP is the deal breaker for me because that means that I led my team to that ring.
And he had to be so good offensively that, this is an era where power forwards and centers didn't shoot the ball. He had to be so transcendent that a team looked at him and said, you know what, this doesn't really make sense. Like, our power forwards need to be like Mark Madsen standing next to Shaq and just cleaning things up.
Just clean the glass.
We're just going to give you the keys to the franchise. Here you go. For a young franchise that hadn't really done anything up until that point in the 90s. They're a baby franchise just trying to figure out their identity. So
he was one of the first few of 50, 40, 90 guys. So that tells you everything you need to know about how efficient he was scoring the basketball.
Has anybody ever called Kevin Garnett soft? Has anybody ever said take Dirk? Has anybody ever said KG, put him on the block and punish him and he'll quit?
Chuck Hayes.
Anybody? Chuck is insane. Anybody that actually would do it? Because Dirk was getting punished on the block. That was his weakness. That was Dirk's MO on Dirk. Get physical, get tough, and he'll shut down.
You're right, but then how about when they matched up together?
Oh my God, you had the better team.
But it's still it's still mano y mano. Forget the other 4 guys. When I have the basketball and you're guarding me, do you stop me more times than not? No.
Evan, is basketball a team sport or is it an individual sport?
I clearly just said that basketball is a team sport, but at the end of the day, one-on-one is still a factor. It's still a factor. So you mean tell me if you're guarding me and I'm scoring on you more times than not, what does that mean? I'm busting your ass. Pause.
That's great. Pause. That's wonderful. But as long as we have more points on the scoreboard than you, who cares? Who cares?
So then Dirk clears that category.
Dirk can have the head-to-head. You want to know what's funny?
Dirk has that category.
You want to know what's funny? The head-to-head ends as soon as KG went got his squad and Dirk went got his squad.
But Dirk still has the better record. He still has the better record.
While KG was in Boston, and let's look at what happened from 08 to 2012.
Okay. We're going to look at that after the pod. And then
tell me what that looks like.
We're going to look at that after the pod. That's fair.
Because in Minnesota, you can't tell me why KG was in Minnesota.
Fine. That's fair.
Dirk didn't have a significantly better team.
That's fair. Okay. We're going to stat check that after this episode. But we need to get to go ahead and just jump to the main event, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant is a Houston Rocket. Let's get it. Jalen Green, bye-bye, baby, bye-bye. Bye-bye. We got your ticket to Phoenix, brother. I wish you all the best. Thank you. I mean, if you want to be honest, thank you for what you did for Houston for the last 4 years, but you got to go.
What did he do?
I mean, he tried to carry it on his. He tried.
He threw out a pretty good Wingstop commercial. Some nail polish lines too.
Listen. He came after the Harden, so it's just like we need somebody to hold on to. I'm not saying he exceeded expectations, but he at least gave the fans something to look forward to.
Right. Jalen was
that's what I'm saying.
He was a consummate professional. Always showed up. Always said the right things. Never was a disruptor in the locker room. Listened to his vets. Evan, like you said, bro, he was challenged by Ime last season and kind of rose to the occasion this year. He made marginal improvements in the intangibles of his game, which is what Ime challenged him on. Unfortunately, I think you pay $35 million a year to a rising star to do more than the intangibles, and he didn't have that on the biggest stage. But Jalen was, the first draft pick of this whole rebuild.
He was.
The first beacon of hope for the Rockets team after 8 consecutive playoff events. Y'all, real quick, for the Houston fans out there, do y'all understand, like, what we've been through?
Oh, yeah.
5 years ago, 5 years ago, losing Harden, losing Westbrook, Morey resigning. You get an executive administrator in the front office in Raphael Stone, who's had no GM experience.
But man, he's killing it right
Tillman
now.
Fertitta with no ownership experience comes in, and look at what they've built in 5 years. Like, we are here, baby.
We are here. I think what I like more, like the most about this trade is that we didn't give up anything. Like, we didn't give up anything major. The Phoenix Suns wanted Jabari, they wanted Tari, they wanted Reece Shepard, and it came out before the trade even happened that they don't that the Rockets offered Jalen Green, but they said no, like, we're not taking Jalen Green. To then turn around and then accept the trade for Jalen Green. Dylan Brooks, I am a fan of you. I'm sorry that you had to go, but this is Kevin Durant we're talking about. So, Wes, what did you think of the overall package?
The overall package was fine. I mean, the 5 second-round picks, that don't matter.
Right.
Like, now, number 10 right here that they're about to draft now is very interesting because that will go to Phoenix, whoever gets picked right here. And the rumor is that Jalen's going to be on the move again, that Phoenix won't keep him. Because that Phoenix roster makes no sense.
It doesn't. You already have Booker and Beal, so there's no sense in keeping him.
It's not, unless you can get off of Bradley Beal, which nobody wants that contract at $52 million.
I will say, and not to cut you off, but I was talking to the homies, my college homies. They think Jalen Green would be a good fit in Memphis.
He'd be a great fit in Memphis.
He would be a great fit in Memphis, but just to throw that out there.
But I don't think Ja is going to be there much longer.
I don't think so either.
I think Ja, this is the last year of Ja Morant in Memphis.
I think so. I think Ja is one of those guys that you have to look out for. Out of nowhere, demands a trade, or Memphis just says we've had enough of the shenanigans. You were supposed to be the franchise guy, and we're starting to move, pieces elsewhere as well. I've heard Jaren Jackson Jr. linked to a lot of stuff.
Yep.
But as far as this trade goes, as far as us talking about the assets lost here, Jalen Green, for all the negativity we're going to throw his way, kind of his playoff performance was a microcosm of, I think, what he would be best at, which would be, I said this when the Rockets drafted him, I think he's Jordan Clarkson, like a super Jordan Clarkson. That 38-point game 2 performance that he had, Jalen can be the kind of guy that comes in and just changes the pace, gives you a different look. The 99% athleticism that can just present matchup problems and change the pace of the game when you're struggling. But to be that guy who the defense zones in on and doubles and he has no answer for, has no counter to any defensive sets, and really struggled in isolation sets, I don't think you're going to... Honestly, Phoenix might not be a bad spot for him if he comes off the bench and runs that second unit. As long as they can get off Bradley Beal's death contract, where he has a no trade clause, so I don't know where he goes. But yeah, I mean, Jalen, sorry you couldn't be the guy here.
Sorry,
but you're getting traded for Kevin Durant, so you obviously still have value in this league, and people view you in a certain light. And maybe things change for him in Phoenix. Maybe he gets another look. Maybe he needed another look in Houston to be that guy. I mean, he's 22 years old.
23? Yeah,
he's going on 23 now. And 4 years.
Yeah.
The 33% usage rate in year 1 and 2 in the first half of year 3. I think we've seen what we need to see from Jalen, especially after these playoffs.
And that's something that we've talked about, too, is just more so of like I've said it on the pod multiple times. Wes has said it. There was one episode where I was like, this is an all-star or bust type of year for Jalen. Like he needs to come out and be consistent. And that's something that Wes has been harping on since day one, like your consistency. Like you have to go out there and be able to handle being the star, being the number one option, but it needs to be on a consistent factor. Like that time that he went on just a tear. Baby daddy Jalen Green just went crazy.
Year 3 from like March onward, he averaged like 29 points a game on crazy
29
splits.
over like 11 games. Like that's the Jalen Green that Houston needed. Wes said that was the first thing. That's the Jalen Green that Rockets fans need right there. So I mean, for 4 years to be in Houston, 2 with Silas, 2 with Ime, and you're still roughly around that
same guy,
19 to 18 and 20 point per game. When there's guys in your draft class, Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley, who have taken those leaps, and you're Chet. No. I'm sorry. Chet was in the draft.
The Jabari draft.
Yeah, Jabari draft. But
oh god.
But you're still in that confined space. Like you don't really know. So.
The Suns take Malalock.
They needed a big, this makes perfect sense for them.
That's a good pickup.
Now, Dylan Brooks hurts. Dylan Brooks.
Dylan does hurt.
He's a part of that culture overhaul that the Rockets had with Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams, getting those vet hauls. But the small forward position on this team is kind of redundant now in the form of Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, Kevin Durant, all basically playing that same 3-4 position. And You know, you lose the number 10 pick, but you have 2 lottery guys. I mean, Whitmore wasn't a lottery guy, but he's lottery level talent, certainly with what we've seen, who couldn't even crack this rotation. So now, guess what? Hey, Reed Shepherd, you're a top 3 pick. Time to hoop.
It's time to hoop.
You're in this rotation on a team that won, you know, the number 2 seed in the West, 55 plus wins.
55 plus wins.
You know,
you're right.
You're Cam Whitmore. You walk off the court, you know, before the game's even over because you're being put in garbage minutes and you don't get the minutes you want. Hey, you're the backup 2 of this team now. And in some situations where we're going to start resting KD and we're going to give our vets some days off, you're a starting player for a Western Conference contender.
Yeah.
So you have no excuses to not
none.
come out here with the energy that we've seen you play with. So the number 10 pick, I'm not really worried about. You have a plethora of young assets and guys that you want to see. And you have all these draft assets in the future. I think they have 5 tradable draft picks.
They do.
In the next 3-4 years. And so I'm not worried about the number 10 pick at all. And again, y'all, we're getting Kevin fucking Durant.
This is
Kevin
Durant.
Durant.
We're talking about
25, 6-4 on 50, 40, 90 splits last year, basically. And when he plays, you're getting a guy who will close out the game for you.
Yep.
You're getting a guy who gives you much needed 3-point shooting. The 43% 3-point shooting he had last year is sorely missed on this team, especially when you have Jalen having 1 for 11 3-point shooting nights in the playoffs. And more than anything else, you're now you're not an upstart team that can play in the regular season. You're legitimately an NBA contender now.
Yeah.
I think the betting odds in Vegas yesterday had the Rockets as the number 2 favorite to win the championship in 2026 behind OKC. So we're here. This is it.
Sorry not to cut you off, but breaking news: Mark Williams got traded to the Suns.
Wow.
What?
Mark Williams to the Suns.
But they just took. You know what?
Mark Williams to the Suns. Just throwing that out there.
Boy, Phoenix, y'all just all types of confused, ain't y'all?
Boy. So, Vala, you brought something up, which I want to ask everybody, which obviously you just alluded to. But, Wes, do you feel that the Rockets are contenders after this KD trade?
Not yet.
I don't think so either.
We're one move away.
I think so.
And the guy that I've been saying on this pod for about a month now, hey, man, Trey, I know you trying to get out of Atlanta, dog. I know you trying to get out of Atlanta. That situation, you need to go.
I have something for you, too.
Or,
I got something for you,
better
too.
yet, even better for the timeline of the team, there's a man in Cleveland that runs the point guard position that is unsustainable. So if y'all want to ship Darius down here, I would take him. I would definitely take Darius.
You know what I would do? Rafael Stone, I'm going to give you this for free. Okay? You don't got to pay me or nothing. There's a team on the East Coast that's making a lot of moves right now.
Oh, you about to say Derek White.
Why don't you go ahead and call the Celtics and see about Derek White? And the only reason I say that is because not only is he a great defensive player, he can shoot the crap out of that basketball.
He can.
And that's we need another shooter on the team. So, Rafael, go ahead and make that call up there to Brad Stevens and just see what the price is. Just see what the price is, because he would be a perfect fit for the Rockets. Perfect.
Depends on what you have to give up, though. I think the strength of this team right now is the mix of youth and veterans that you have that can plug and play wherever.
Yeah.
You know, the weakness right now that they have, maybe you could look at and say, how do we match up against the best teams? How do the Rockets match up with Fred VanVleet on the floor playing against SGA and Jalen Williams backcourt? How do they match up with LA putting Luka and a bunch of bigger guard wings around him and just running it out there? So maybe you guys are right that you could get an upgrade there, but at what cost? Right?
Yeah.
If Garland or a guy like maybe Ja, I don't know, or another point guard is on the market that can take them to the next level, I'm all for it, but I really think this team, as constructed, this is a contender. Yo, this was the second best post-trade deadline last year. This is the second best defensive team in the NBA, only behind Golden State.
It was Golden State.
It was Golden State after the trade deadline.
You're right. I'm sorry.
And Golden State, looked like they were going to be right up there with OKC competitively until Steph's hamstring went out because he used the last of his juice against the Rockets, basically.
Of course he did.
And then you have the natural organic growth of, and I said this on the podcast last year when I came here, Amen Thompson.
He's about to take a
superstar.
Amen, we talk year 2 of Jalen, year 3 of Jalen, year 4 of Jalen. We're like, yo, the year 2 leap. You guys know about that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no. The year 3 leap. That's when, shooting guards become superstars. okay, well, like he has a new coach, so year 4, like maybe he'll. Yo, this is year 3 for Amen. The leap he made from rookie year, basically missing half the year with his ankle, to now year 2, post February, being an 18, 10, and 5 guy, giving you a steal and a half, a block and a half. Year 3, Amen. And this dude is a weirdo.
Scary.
Amen Thompson is a weird, like all he cares about is watching film, hooping, and working on his game as a 22-year-old millionaire. He's a gym rat.
He's a gym rat.
And now you throw him in with the complimentary piece of KD, which is going to open the floor for him. You saw Amen's best stretch come when Alperen Şengün was off the court.
Yep.
Now you have KD stretch this floor open for you and a guy to take him under his wing and kind of develop the mid-range aspect of his game that we've already seen leaps in. I think Amen takes a step up, just a small step up from what we saw post-trade deadline. And this team's a contender, as currently constructed.
I think Jabari's going to take another step up too, because now you get to be with KD 24/7.
I mean, you say that, but Tari consistently outplays him. Consistently.
Yeah, Tari's IQ is just tough.
No, it is.
There's some moments where Tari does some boneheaded things, but on the floor, like his offensive rebounding, there's a lot of things happening.
The Terror Twins.
Internationally, there's a lot of scary things happening, but domestically, the terrorism that Tari Eason, Amen Thompson, and Jabari Smith can bring with that length. And KD's a good defender too. Like
he's not bad.
People
He's
forget
not a bad defender.
People forget when KD's in a system that promotes defense, like he was in Golden State. That's an All NBA level defender. So I'm all for terrorism as it relates to the Houston Rockets, and I think we're going to see it in a degree that we've never seen on this team before.
Wes, stop it, Wes, stop it. Oh my God,
It's going to be a good one.
This is our boy Vala, ladies and gentlemen. That's our guy. So Wes thinks that the Rockets should go after Trae Young, Darius Garland. I think that we should go after a guy like Derek White. What is another piece you think the Rockets should possibly go out?
So they came out publicly and said the things they want to work on are, one, really expanding the minutes of that Steven Adams, Alperen Şengün, Twin Towers lineup. And then they also want to promote more spacing, which I think KD does for them naturally. I think another piece of this puzzle is getting more depth in your backcourt, specifically point guard. If they can get a good backup point guard on this roster, I think that's one thing that's lacking for them. Who's on the market they can get? I'm not sure.
Lonzo Ball, Chris Paul. I mean, that's
would a Malcolm Brogdon
James
from
Harden
Washington be available?
There's been people theory crafting about getting James Harden on this team, and I'm just like,
no.
This isn't 2K, guys. Like they built something up to this point. They got to see it out.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at a guy like Marcus Smart potentially. I don't know what the Wizards are trying to do, like stacking up all these veterans.
I would like Marcus Smart.
But a guy like Marcus Smart, reuniting him with Ime, you run the risk of bringing too many Boston guys in and recreating that Boston environment, and you worry about Ime potentially having some, seductive thoughts come in his mind with that environment coming back to fruition. So I don't know if you can do that, but ideally, those are the kind of players, the archetypes you're looking for.
You're killing Wes over here today.
I'm so happy somebody else is saying these things besides me on this pod.
We're all
Finally.
thinking it. We're all thinking it.
Yeah, we're all.
Oh my God, I'm so happy about that. Okay, this is my thing about the Rockets. I love Steven Adams. I love Frankenstein. That's my guy. But the thing I fear for this Rockets team is if KD does go down, which over his course record of the last 5-7 years, he's gonna get hurt at some point. Will an Amen be able to step in and carry that scoring load, or will it be a situation where we see Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore take quantum leaps? That's my fear for the Rockets team. Is like, what happens if KD goes down?
Or you go out and get a safety net and somebody who is a bona fide scorer and have him on your bench just in case.
We have it. That's Cam.
Yeah, I think we have it.
I'm just saying, like, if there's somebody out there in the market that you're like, hey, we need you as a safety net just in case if KD goes down.
But y'all, we saw that this year. Like, we saw multiple instances of, hey, if our star scorer, if the guy who the volume of our possessions go to in ISO situations and shot attempts goes down, what do we do? And it wasn't due to injury with Jalen Green. Right. It was just his inconsistency. So what do? they lean on their defense.
Yeah. Mhm.
And they go through Alperen Şengün and they slow the game down.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no issue with that, especially like you pointed out, Wes. You got Cam Whitmore coming off the bench.
You do.
Who knows what Reed Shepard's going to be? I don't think you put your stock in him as your safety net of KD going down. But I think all these guys as a committee are going to pick up the pieces and contribute to that scoring effort they need. Because give credit where credit's due, man. Jalen Green didn't miss games. He showed up.
He did.
He just showed
He
up as a
didn't.
dud in certain games.
Yeah. He's closer to his mother of his child and his kid now in Phoenix, so that might work out better for him from a mental standpoint.
Hey, it might. You know, he was a little distracted
when
out
you go
here.
home and you see them babies and you run through that door and they say, "Daddy," it's no type of feeling like that, man.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling.
Hey, well, you know, you're not wrong.
It's okay, Evan.
I can't fault you for saying that.
I mean, by the time yours come, hopefully, Sam, I hope you're watching. Remember, have Evan cut that hair off. Like, I do not have a baby coming in this world with Evan having this on his head. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Easy, man. Hop in the comments, dog. You know me and you talk about this every time I see you. Evan need to let it go.
Oh my goodness, man. All
Let
right.
it go.
So just to switch gears a little bit, NBA Finals have finally come to a close after what felt like a month long of just NBA Finals basketball. I don't know why the NBA spread these games out like they
Yeah,
did.
that was tough.
Bro, training camp about to start.
Yeah, like that's crazy. But just I guess everybody's reactions to Game 7. Wes reaction. Be nice, because you know your boy. You know Everest is gonna look at this later on. So just
Everest,
be nice.
man. Everest, man. I told you, bro. There's levels to this. I told you that. It's levels to this. We watched a superstar figure out how to become a legendary superstar by winning a championship. See, you can't become legendary in the NBA unless you have a ring. That's just the rules and the way it's been forever. If you don't have a ring, you can't become legendary in the NBA. Name me a legendary player that don't have a ring.
Allen Iverson.
Caller Malone.
Please don't ever bring up that nasty. That nasty.
Is AI not a legend?
Anyways, AI is an icon. He's not a basketball legend. There's a difference. Allen Iverson is a cultural icon.
What's
He's
the
not a
difference?
basketball
Yeah,
legend.
I'm kind of curious now.
Allen Iverson on the court was undersized.
But
He wasn't
he's
a great shooter.
He was an MVP. Wes,
He was an
at 6
MVP.
foot.
Wait a minute. He was an MVP. He was, like I said, undersized MVP. Wasn't a great shooter. Wasn't a great defender. His biggest claim to fame is taking that 76ers team to the finals and winning game 1 against Shaq and Kobe and then losing 4 straight.
Yeah.
That's his biggest claim to fame ever, right?
The only game the Lakers lost in the playoffs.
was that game 1. That was it, right? So you fast forward now, you look at AI with the clothes, the tattoos, the
sleeves,
braids,
the
the
sleeves.
chains, the sleeve, the crossover. Like culturally, he's an icon. Basketball wise, Allen Iverson isn't even in my top 40 players of all time.
Top what?
How many
40.
All-NBA appearances does Allen Iverson have? I genuinely don't know.
6?
I want to look this up.
think
Because
it's
to
6.
say Allen Iverson, I'm repping the jersey here, y'all.
I
To say
agree.
Allen Iverson is not an NBA legend is
He's
wild.
not a basketball legend
He's
compared
top
to the rest
75.
of the team. Okay, and Dwight Howard's not top 75. So what are we talking about?
But this is Allen Iverson we're talking about.
Dwight Howard was better than Allen Iverson. He was 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Led his team to the finals just like AI did.
11 All-NBA
11
selections.
All-NBA.
10-time All-Star.
10-time All-Star.
NBA MVP.
Not in my top 40 of all-time great players.
We're about to go viral again, ladies and gentlemen.
Not
I
in
love
my
it.
top 40. Allen Iverson was great, but it's like when you really break down his game, the legend of Allen Iverson is greater than his game.
Why do you think as a 6'2 combo
Gilbert
guard,
Arenas,
he was
Rashad
able to
McCants,
do the things he did?
Please respond to this.
He did what he did, but it's like I've seen other guys do better than you at your size. Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry.
Isaiah, again, you talk about circumstances,
Steph's
bro.
a little taller, but okay.
It's a wee bit taller.
Talk
Like-
about circumstances. You talk about KG's circumstances.
Yes.
Who did AI have on those Sixers teams?
He
Yeah,
had
Wes. Who did
nobody.
AI have on them
He had
Sixers
Aaron
teams?
McKee,
Eric
Eric Snow,
Snow. Yeah.
Dikembe Mutombo.
R.I.P. Mutombo.
Who was the white guy that was on that
R.I.P.
team? I forgot. It was some guy that was
Keith
playing.
Van Horn.
No.
Keith Van Horn was
I thought he was on the Nets.
one of his
No,
teams.
he was on,
He was
you're
on
right.
the Nets
He was on
2
one
and
years
then
after.
Iggy got there after the fact. So it's like I get it.
He got there at the tail end, so like right when AI was about to get
traded to Denver.
Get traded to Denver, yeah.
I get it, but it's like AI is not a winning. AI is the system. Okay, he is the system.
Okay.
He's not a player that could be part of a system. Like there's levels, just like I said about the Pacers. There's levels to this, dog. Allen Iverson is a great one-on-one player. He is not a great team player. We found that out when he went to Denver. Because he went to Denver, and as soon as he left and they got Chauncey, they went straight to the Western Conference Finals. It's levels to this. I love Allen Iverson. Love the answer. But he is not like a winning basketball player. He's not.
Yeah, that's tough to say. And
When he went to... Yeah, it is. It's a little tough. I mean,
if you look at his career, after that finals run,
yeah, playoff wise, it was lacking for sure.
For sure. But this is this is a legend we're talking about.
He's a legend. I didn't say he's not a legend.
He's a legend we're talking about.
He's more of a cultural icon.
But
it's like Melo.
We got off track. So you were saying SGA legendary.
Legendary.
Yes. Superstar.
It's levels to this, Ev. SGA is a superstar. Halliburton is clutch. It's levels to it, man. Like, I feel bad for Tyrese. I'm glad that he got paid when he got paid. I said it during Game 6. I would not play him because of everybody knew why, and I didn't want to say it, but we all knew why he shouldn't have played in that series. And then it's real weird that the Pacers, right before he popped that Achilles, traded to get their pick back next year. Anybody else found that weird?
You're not wrong.
Like, it sounds like the Pacers knew exactly what was about to happen. And they were just running it out, hoping they could steal a championship. Because all the Pacers have done for 2 years is steal victories.
But it's also just hard to... It's also hard because this isn't just a regular Tuesday night game versus Charlotte.
Right.
Like, this is the NBA Finals. So you can say, like, hey, like, I recommend you sitting out, but... When do you think that the Pacers are going to get back to that point where they're in the NBA Finals? Like as a player,
they shouldn't have been there this year.
But I'm just saying as a player, your mindset is I may never get back to this point.
Right, I agree with you.
So it's like I have to like if I can walk, I'm going. Like you know. So it's just. I mean it's definitely hard to see. I mean I understand what you're saying. Like the Pacers probably should have sat him, but again, this isn't just a regular season like. All-star whatever kind of game. Like this is the NBA Finals.
It was Hallie's, from what I've heard, it was Hallie's call. He wanted to go.
It was.
And you could see, like when he went down and you saw his calf ripple and he's on the ground, one of the trainers comes over to him and asks him, did it pop? And he's just banging on the floor, nodding his head. And I don't think it was pain.
No.
He was grimacing because he knew, like, this is it.
This is it.
I got off to a hot start in Game 7. On the road, we're up, and, like, I'm never going to be able to see this through. And, bro, that's tough to see from any competitor, let alone the Cinderella story of the decade. Like, a 50-win team that barely etched by in their previous rounds that had miraculous comebacks against the Knicks to propel them forward. Game winners left and right.
Series. Oh, my goodness.
You know, I wouldn't... I was going to go as far as to say that if Indiana won this finals, they would have been the worst NBA champions since the 2019 Toronto Raptors. And at least the 2019 Toronto Raptors had the benefit of playing a Warriors team that lost KD and then lost Clay in the closeout game as well.
In that closeout game.
But, you know, this would have been unbesmirched, just pure underdog story for the Pacers if they would have been able to go through and win this. And unfortunately, you know, I hate to say it, but the better team won. You know, the OKC Thunder were the better team. They won the series. SGA, Finals MVP, generational 27-year-old super duper star. I mean, I don't think I'd be remiss to say right now SGA is maybe the first, second, or third best player in the NBA.
No, not at all.
No,
right now, right there with
wrong.
Jokic and arguably either Luka or Giannis, depending on what you value more and how you think Luka's diet's going to go over the summer. So
apparently he's lost a lot of weight.
Boy, I can't wait to talk about Luka.
So I just want to ask you all this, though, because if we're, you know, chasing the Rockets discussion with the NBA Finals talks, am I the only one who saw the final? Like, I saw all 7 games for the first time in a few years because I've been night shift at my hospital, and I'm finally day shift. So I got to see every game. OKC looked beatable, bro.
They did.
OKC did not look like a team that they're talking about on ESPN as a 68-win team who owns the West for the next 4 years. I don't think this is an unbeatable OKC team. they're just going through a very transitioning point in the NBA right now where the top dogs are starting to see turnover. They're starting to see aging.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to see blemishes in their own roster constructions with the new CBA agreements. And they capitalized on it. And good for them. And Sam Presti, whenever the NBA finally expands and you have those 2 expansion teams, you are the best free agent on the market. Whoever gets that man,
freaking Lugley. Oh my
you're
goodness.
building a dynasty for the next few years, or
You
at
are.
least you're laying the groundwork for it. So, pretty awesome finals, man. I know the ratings.
was.
I know the ratings were down, but I thought this was the most exciting basketball-wise
I thought so,
finals
too.
that I've
I
seen
thought
in a
so,
few
too.
years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are on the same page.
Because
as
the
that.
Pacers
I
blew it in
agree.
game 4. That was the time they lost the championship game. The last 7 minutes of game 4, they lost the championship.
Yep.
Because they should have been up 3-1 heading back to OKC.
So I
agree
hate cliches, but would you say that OKC won this more than Indiana lost this?
Yeah, because of the defensive end.
Okay.
Like that game, that third quarter defense Oklahoma City played, that's the defense they played all year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that's it right there.
Trap. Oh, McConnell, you think you finna get off? We're gonna put Lou Dort on you.
Yeah.
Let's see what you do now. McConnell started turning that thing over, turning it over. Caruso, go get him. J-Dub, go get him. SGA,
They started
you take
sending
a
the
turn.
whole house at them. Yeah.
Like, come on, y'all really finna bank on McConnell to win? Where's Siakam? Get him the ball.
Yeah.
But y'all want to give it to McConnell? That's not gonna win you nothing. Nothing. I love McConnell, but that's not gonna win you nothing, man.
Yeah, he almost etched himself a legendary place in playoff history
did.
with some of the performances he had. But Game 7 of the finals, the best defense in the NBA zoning in on you.
And at home.
And at home, that crowd started going
No.
nuts. You
Oh,
couldn't
there-
even
oh.
hear it. There go the Derek Queen. Oh, Atlanta, I like that.
Derek
I
Queen.
really like
Derek
that pick.
Queen to Atlanta. Not bad. I like that.
That's a really good fit because they need a
like
big.
that.
They can let Capella walk now.
So obviously, this winning the championship at OKC makes SGA obviously the greatest Thunder.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like I think we can all
sure.
relatively agree with that. But as just far as a single season, scoring leader, MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, NBA champion, Finals MVP, where does that rank him as far as season wise? Where do you think that ranks him? Because there's a lot of great seasons out there.
It's so weird because everything you're laying out, like on paper, what was he, like 32 points a game on
Yeah.
pretty elite upper 50s effective field goal percentage. He's a defense. He's not their best defender, but he's capable and high IQ, great teammate,
Yep.
a leader in the locker room, which everybody
Definitely.
in OKC promoted. But like what? I feel like this is a talking point a lot of people in the media make. So I don't want to get too mainstream on the audience here, but what was their signature moment? Like, what's SGA's signature moment in the playoffs on this championship run, or OKC's in general? Can you guys think of one?
That Denver series was the one for me.
You-
Game 7, the game actually was it Game 4 on the road against Denver. That was the moment. They were down 2-1. That was the moment.
I think it's tough for me to contextualize this with what I'm saying, but regardless, Evan, this is the best single season we've had from a guard since
Steph?
Since
Yeah,
Steph,
since Steph,
since MVP Steph seasons
16.
pre-KD. I'd be hard to think of another guy.
This is it because there's not really anybody. Nobody's had a season like this since Jordan. Because LeBron
Jordan.
didn't lead the league in scoring when he won them titles. So it was just Jordan. Jordan done it 4 times. What SGA did, Jordan did it 4 times.
Yep.
And then it's Magic and somebody else on that list.
Could have been KD if
Could have
Patrick
been.
Beverly didn't tear Russell Westbrook's meniscus in the first
Sheesh.
round.
Now that's the championship
That's
that
the one he's
OKC
missing.
should have got.
Should have gotten.
Because Miami was gonna get smacked by that OKC
What was that,
team.
What was that,
13?
20? It was,
It was
13.
It was
13.
Harden's first year, so it would have been
It was 13.
13.
Yep.
Yeah,
They
13.
they would have wiped the floor with that Miami team. They had no answer for Kevin Durant that year. KD was on another level.
No, he was. You're right.
But I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of disheartening. But injuries happen. Thankfully, what I've been asking for 2 years finally happened. The Pacers finally played a fully healthy team, and guess what
And
happened?
they
They lost,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. I've been trying to tell y'all
got-
this for 2 years.
they got them brakes
y'all
put
don't want
on
to
them.
listen to me.
Yeah.
Run into a healthy team, you lose. I keep saying it.
So another question for y'all. Obviously, there's been a lot of Achilles pops, especially in the East. What team has the wide open window now? Like, what team can be like, hey, this is gonna be our year to do it?
I told you my team. If
In the East.
2 teams. If the Knicks don't do it this year, you got to blow it up.
Yeah, if the Knicks don't do it, you got to go. I was thinking
if
that.
Cleveland don't do it, you got to blow it up. Both of them teams are in win a championship or blow it up mode.
What about Orlando?
Orlando's not really in that mode because you have Franz under contract, Paolo's still ascending. You still need a few more pieces in Orlando before you can really make that claim. But them other 2, you good to go. You got everything you need.
You got
right
everything
now.
you need.
Go get it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a clear window for any of them where you're like, all right, this is the post Shaq and Kobe era. The West is wide open. The East is wide open.
Wide open.
But I don't think any of those teams have a guy that you can say will take over a playoff series and propel you, which is ultimately, I think, what makes a team certifiably guaranteed to go through a certain route. Like Denver, right? Denver posts the breakdown of the West. They basically post the Warriors breakdown, that is, because they were the West. Denver had Jokic. They could throw him the ball whenever they wanted, and they built that team around him, and they said, go. New York, it's win by committee and Jalen Brunson. And they've shown if you have size against Brunson, you can make things a little more difficult for him.
Oh, yeah.
Orlando, it's Paolo, who's like kind of there, not really, but he's on Team USA, and he's in the locker room with all these guys. Can he take that next step? We'll see. And then Cleveland is the definition of win by committee, right?
Yeah.
Regular season champs,
Regular
boy.
season champs. You Garland, you've got
That might be the best starting 5 in basketball.
I still expect Evan Mobley to take another leap in his
I
game,
do
so
too.
that's gonna be a big differentiator in what
And
they
you still
do.
got Jared Allen. Like they are stacked.
DeAndre Hunter.
And then there's the
DeAndre
elephant
Hunter.
in the room of, what the heck is going to happen with Giannis? Are the Bucks going to basically trade him with foresight of knowing they have to blow this roster up, not having Damian Lillard, and committing $50 million of their cap space to him this year? Are they going to hold on to him and hope for a reclamation project down the line 2 years from now? Are they going to try to be competitive this year? Where Giannis goes, if he lands in the East, that's going to be a big, big differentiator in what happens. And who knows, maybe the Rockets still have a move or two made. And Giannis is included in
if
that.
that's the case, then Jabari is going to be in that package.
Oh, he has to
yeah,
be.
no, Jabari and Reed will be
1000%.
gone in that package.
Yeah. So, but speaking of Giannis, where do y'all think if the Bucks decide to move on from him, realistically, where do you think he goes?
At this point?
Yeah. At this point, now that Kevin Durant has been traded to his destination, where do you think Giannis ends up?
He's got to go somewhere that has assets that can basically make it something that the Bucks will want to do. Mm-hmm. He's got to go somewhere where I think is going to be competitive, that he's going to be motivated to play in just because of who he is. Mm-hmm. Maybe Golden State. He's always been linked to the Warriors with that Steph Curry.
Man,
But they don't have the assets to make that trade.
And I don't think the Bucks are interested in like a Kuminga sign and trade
hell
to
no.
facilitate that. So
Brooklyn
Raptors,
is a spot. The Raptors is a
Brooklyn
spot.
and the Raptors.
What about the Knicks?
The Knicks don't have the assets from the
From
Bridges
the
trade. They
Bridges
gave up
trade.
all the assets.
and they're tied with their luxury tax in the second apron too. So they'd have to match salaries
dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
which is tough with a contract like Giannis.
And you can't do it. And Miami don't have the assets either. So it's like, who's left? Because if I'm Giannis, I want no parts of the Western Conference at this point.
No, the West is
None.
way too stacked.
Like that's ridiculous.
You might as well just stay in the East. Yeah.
Stay in the East.
Just stay in the
That's
East.
where you could actually get back to the finals is in the East. If you were gonna come West, the team honestly is the Spurs. That's the team. That's the team that got the assets. They got the players. They got the picks. That's the spot. Or there's a dark horse team, and nobody would like to see this.
The Mavericks?
Oklahoma City got the assets.
Yeah, they do.
They got the assets, man. If Sam Presti want to pull that trigger for a Giannis, he really actually could. Chet would have to be gone.
Chet and Hartenstein would probably have to go.
But I would do that for Giannis.
I would do
I
express
would.
shipping.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
both
y'all
of them,
both
bro.
can go. Y'all both can go. But that is either OKC or the Spurs if you go West. Nobody else has the assets anymore. And the Rockets, they'd be foolish to give up Al P's.
Yeah. I was about to say, could the Rockets do it?
It's crazy.
Is there a scenario where Vala, where you think the Rockets could entertain that?
Absolutely. I mean, you'd have to ship off Alperen, Jabari.
Yep.
You'd maybe even have to throw in Reed Shepherd. All the Suns picks that you have left and the draft swap rights that you have as well. And then, I don't know, you'd maybe have to throw in more just to make the salaries match too. Maybe a guy like Jeff Green's contract or
Uncle
another
Jeff
vet
would
minimum.
probably have to go. Yeah.
So yeah, I think the Rockets could if they wanted to, but I think they're happy with where they're at right now. I don't think they're going to make any more splash moves.
Go get Derek White.
OKC and Golden State would hurt just because of the trauma we've been through as Houston fans. Like, we're finally here.
That would suck. Oh,
and then
my
Giannis
God.
comes out west into our backyard. Screw that. I'm not ready for that.
OKC would be the nightmare scenario where you put him and SGA together. Oh,
J-Dub. Oof. Lord
with
have
that
mercy.
bench depth and the picks they have, man.
Don't get
I don't
any
wanna see
ideas,
that.
please. I don't want to see that either.
And I love the Thunder, but it's like I don't even want to see that. That would just be unfair at that point. With that we talk about the Rockets defense. The Thunder's defense on a different level. It's on a different level because everybody can guard. Even the bench guys can guard, with the exception of Isaiah Joe. Everybody else can guard.
And the continuity, too. Like, all those guys have been together for 3-4 years now. Like, they've kept that core together. They've grown naturally together. That's what you hope the Rockets can do. That's what you hope they can project over the next 2 years with all their young wings. So, OKC, they're going to be this team for the next 3 to 4 years that I think are going to be at the top 2 to 3 seed of the West.
Yep.
But I think that's it. Like, I think that window is about 3-4 years.
I agree.
It's just hard. It's hard to keep.
I agree, too.
With this new CBA and the limitations of getting to those apron points with your cap management, it's just so hard to keep teams together for more than 3 or 4 years. Look at Denver. Like, Denver, the championship team Denver had, like, that whole core is essentially gone aside from their 3 or 4 most expensive guys. Aaron Gordon, Porter, Jamal Murray, and Jokic.
Yep.
Everyone else are a mix and mash of like rookies, free agent signings, Russ, Braun, and a few other guys here and there. But
DeAndre Jordan,
your depth is essentially gone.
Yeah, it is.
On. Denver broke that team up. That's insane. The Lakers broke their team up. But while we're actually, now that I bring the Lakers up, I actually wanted to ask you, Vala, what is your outlook about the evil empire out west selling this franchise for $10 billion, having Luka and probably the last, if not the next to last year of a LeBron James?
Yeah, it's funny, man. You know, the NBA, $10 billion, like more than. What was the last sale of an NBA franchise? Was it Boston?
It was
Boston.
$6 billion.
$6 billion?
Yeah, it was somewhere around there.
$10 billion, I guess rings don't matter that much.
Nah, man.
$10 billion.
But that selling point, along with the fact that you get Luka at the trade deadline and then the Mavericks get the number 1 overall pick, like, make no mistake about it. David Stern and the Mafia ties have continued into the modern day NBA. And this is just how business works, man. And I think it's for the best. I think with Luka and LeBron in a full season in LA, I don't know what they're going to do with their roster to make sense around those guys because it certainly
need shooting.
It doesn't make sense right now. They need a lot of shooting and they need
big.
They need a big
bigs.
lob threat. Jackson Hayes ain't going to be that guy, and we figured that out 4 years ago when he was drafted. So my outlook for them is they're going to be an awesome regular season team because Luka is essentially the modern Harden. You put him on a roster, you're winning 50 games.
Yeah.
LeBron is going to show up in the playoffs, load manage, and take care of his body to get himself there. And I think they're just going to be what they've been the last, 5 years. They're going to be a team ESPN talks about. Yeah. They're going to be the talking point of every halftime show. But at the end of the day, I don't think any real basketball heads are going to take them seriously in championship contender terms.
I don't think so.
I hope none of y'all do.
No, I mean, I see them realistically between. Oh wow,
The champs.
the champs. They had a dope parade from what I saw.
SGA out there looking like Robert Kelly, baby.
Hey, yo, don't start that. Realistically, I see the Lakers in that 5 to 8 spot. Truthfully,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I would hope that they're not a play-in team because then that just kind of defeats the purpose. So I truthfully see them between 5 to 8.
I could agree with that.
They're the odds-on betting favorites, third right now to win the championship.
I don't see that.
It's OKC, Houston, LA, and then I can't recall who 4, 5, and 6 are.
Who is Thomas Sorber?
Yeah, this draft class out of the lottery, I couldn't tell you.
But Sam Presti took him, so I'm a believe in Sam.
You know what? Yeah.
Whoever this guy is, he's gonna be a
Sam,
baller.
I trust. Sam, I trust.
Now there is one he missed on that I thought was gonna be a dog, and that was Perry Jones from Baylor. I thought he was gonna be a dog.
Oh
And he
man,
ended
yeah.
up-
Some years ago, yeah.
Yeah, He missed on him bad. And
6'9", 6'10" wing guy.
Could shoot it, handle it.
Boy,
He just
that Baylor squad. Well, really, Baylor has some teams.
Hell, Baylor just had a top three pick tonight in VJ.
But I'm just saying in general because you brought up Perry Jones. Baylor had some squads, boy. They had you said Perry Jones. They had
Austin who couldn't play because of his eyes or something like
Austin,
that.
They had Jackson. What's the boy's name?
The point guard Pierre Jackson.
Pierre Jackson. Man, they were loaded.
Yeah,
they had Quincy Acey.
They did have Quincy Acey.
Man, boy, just dunking on everybody. Boy, my God.
He's a mean dunker.
Well, as we bring this in for a landing, I figure, and Wes, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this, but, we just want to ask our guests just one question, just based on your opinion. Our tech and audio guy right here, Willard, he is a very confident man.
Oh, here we go.
So just, I've played basketball, you've played basketball, he's played basketball, you and I were teammates, getting buckets together. Do you feel the Willard right now, our tech and audio guy, do you think that he can go get 10 points in the NBA game
today?
Right now.
There's absolutely no chance.
Thank you.
Wait, I got another follow-up.
Yeah.
Do you think he could beat an Olympic 100-meter sprinter in a 400-meter race?
How much time does he have to prepare? Right now,
as a female.
That shouldn't matter.
The Willard that I'm seeing in front of me right now.
This guy right here, sitting
no
right here.
prep, no extra training.
Just
stretch
and go.
I think both hamstrings explode immediately.
Yes! Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
But if not for that, if he had the proper conditioning and the LeBron James diet, I think he could maybe compete out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if anybody had the LeBron James diet, I think we'd be fine.
Oh, you mean the HGH diet?
Those cheekbones are a little bit high.
But yeah, he's a very confident man. He swears up and down that he can get 10 points in an NBA game.
Bro, I don't know if you could even get up 10 shots if you try to in an NBA game right now.
Thank you.
Just being able to get a shot up against a 6'3" freak whose
wingspan is probably 7 foot.
And that's the smallest man on the court.
Their quick jump ability, their ability to go down and come straight back up. Come on, bro. You're not finna do this.
I love you, brother, but no.
10 points in the NBA. You know how hard it is to score. There's people that didn't average 10 points for their career. You still believe that? Oh, do you believe? He said he would score a touchdown on Derek Stingley.
Yeah.
He also said that. The first team All-Pro corner.
First team All-Pro. No. You said that.
You said that.
It's on camera.
To talk shit. That was talking shit. He backed up and said, said he was yeah, you're right. Probably not. I probably can give him one, maybe. But again, it's a maybe.
That's what we're saying. You said you could beat him on a go route right now.
So, here's a scenario. Let's play this out, though. An NBA team says, Willard, what's up, bro? You're going to play 48 minutes.
Thank you.
You're going to be out there for 48 minutes.
You cannot play an NBA game 48 minutes.
But all Willard's got to do is camp himself on the other side of the court, get leak out passes, and make 5 layups.
But those guys can run, and so by the time he puts that ball down, I'm like, I have a layup.
Just to be
swipe.
So that's the strategy. The NBA team has to come. They got to say, we're going to lose by 70 points, but Willard, you're going to stand down there. We're going to get you the 10 points.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that can work.
Get 10 points is what I'm trying to get the point off. Getting 10 points shouldn't be that hard.
I don't see it.
It would be the worst plus minus in NBA history.
It probably would be more
for an NBA player.
The worst in history.
But the 10 points would be in the box score.
I'm gonna get some fouls. Is what I'm saying. I might be I might go for a rebound if I try. I'm gonna get hit.
You're not getting a rebound. No. We're already talking about scoring. Now you want to talk about rebounds? You're not getting a rebound.
Period.
Bro, I would go JV games in high school, and I was decent when we were in high school. I would go entire JV games without scoring more than 8 points. Competitive basketball against these freaks. This is hard.
It's different.
It's different.
And you played with 2 NBA players.
Yeah.
You did.
What are we talking about, man? Willard, you're shorter than me, and you think you're going to get a rebound in the NBA when there's dudes that are 7 foot walking around, 6'10", 6'8", 6'6". I can't touch the rim.
How much you weigh?
185. But
what does that mean?
What does that mean? I'm gonna box out. I'm not gonna just straight up and go for the rebound.
Doesn't necessarily matter for rebounding. You do realize that, right?
Boxing out.
You do.
I said I'm a box out. I didn't say I was gonna get a rebound. I said I'm a box out.
Will. Question.
I'm gonna just jump up and
Will, you do realize hops isn't necessarily all you need to get rebound, right?
Can I just ask how much you weighed?
That
But
doesn't
rebounding
matter.
is an art.
Well, I mean, you're right, but wouldn't your weight also factor to that?
It does to a point.
Thank you.
But then what does touching rim have to do with it?
I can get up to at least get to the ball.
Allen
Have you
Iverson-
not watched Zach Randolph play basketball? He
Allen-
can't jump over a
Allen
phone
Iverson can
booth.
touch rim, and he averaged like 2 rebounds a game. So what's your point?
I can get a rebound. Thank you.
And if
Okay,
this-
you can get a rebound.
If it's
You can
if
get
it's
a
a
rebound.
regular if it's a regular season game in November, a lot of these guys don't box out. A lot of them
Right.
aren't playing
You
yet.
get a rebound. I believe you get a rebound. Now you getting 10 points is insane. I don't believe that at all.
We start breaking it down if y'all want to. We'll break all of them down. I'm going to get my 10. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm going to get my 10.
God.
Houston Rockets, please.
Again.
Matter of
Willard, you're gonna get that steal and you're gonna look back and everybody's gonna be like this, chasing you down.
And they
like,
gonna
there's
swipe that
no
to the
way
12th
you're
row.
getting to the rim.
Let me ask you this, bro. So we already discussed the scenario where your coach is like, "We're gonna lose, but you're gonna get your 10 points." The coach of the opposite team says, "If this guy gets 10 points, none of y'all get paid this season. You still getting your 10 points?"
That might be a different ball.
No,
you're not. Because now you're talking about people's money. You ain't getting that.
You got Marcus Smart just making his mission to make you miserable.
You out there
Yeah.
against this Oklahoma City defense, and
You not good, man.
Dagnall calls him in. Hey, if he scored 10 points, ain't none of y'all
If
getting
he
y'all
gets
bonuses.
across half court with the basketball, you're
Willard,
not. No.
You're not getting
You're
past
not.
half court.
That's
I
people's
promise
money.
you.
That's people's money at that point.
Look, throwing X and Y's in. Look, we good all that.
Hey man, you playing with people. These
you
dudes is
playing
out here
with
paying
money.
mortgages off of this, Willard. They
Yeah.
paying for colleges off of this, and they paying for Birkin bags and all types of side chicks. And you think you finna get out here and score 10 points on an NBA player is insane, insane. Like, oh my, who's the worst player on the Rockets right now? Jayson Tate. That's probably the worst player we have.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, yes.
Do you think he scored 10 points
Absolutely
on Jayson?
not.
No way.
Absolutely not. Jay Sean can lock up.
Jayson will lock you up, bro.
I think Willard's banking on plays breaking down. He picks up the ball,
Hustle
lays
points.
it up, hustle points, like
He doesn't
outlet
hustle.
on a fast
That's the
break.
point. He doesn't hustle.
He doesn't get that after 5 minutes
Yeah.
he's gonna be exhausted.
I told him this isn't just some Travis high school court. Like, this isn't a legit NBA. Like the lanes are wider. The
Yep.
3-point it's
Three-point
a
line is
bigger
further
court.
And the pace, bro.
It's a bigger court.
I know how to run, nigga.
You're not.
Willard, there's a difference between in shape and NBA shape, bro. I'm telling you, there's two
Willard, please-
different
I
things.
feel
Please
like
understand that when I tell you
3
that.
possessions, you're dead. Like
you're done.
The common man's conditioning is up. Like you can't keep up with the pace these guys play with.
You're done.
And they take like 5 strides, and they're from one free throw line to the
To the
next.
other, yep.
It's just not fair, bro.
That's why it's so incredible
nothing
to watch
against you.
a
It's
Trae
just we're
Young
different
or
animals.
somebody like that. Because they're small.
We're at the lower end of the biosphere. These are the predators that we're going up
Look at
against.
that guy walking down the stairs. He's from China, Willard. And you mean to tell me that you're going to score 10 points on somebody like he's
Who's
7'1", 253,
So you mean his wingspan is probably damn near.
7'6".
Yeah.
Look at his arms.
Look, Willard, just
Just look at him.
Could be slow. I don't know.
Willard, look at
Him?
him.
Could be slow.
He could be slow.
I ain't seen his highlights, man. I know he just got picked up. I'm just
okay. Look, highlights.
Oh,
Yang Hansen
my
versus
God.
Willard. Let's go.
Look at this.
Block. Give me
Block.
that. No.
Give me this.
That's
Give me
you.
that.
That's you. No, give me that shit.
Off the glass.
No, yeah,
Ah.
no, you ain't scoring on that. No. Look at that. Clean.
Look at this.
Clean. Look at this. And he got another
Another
one. No, you are not scoring. You're
Dime. Give me that.
You are not looking.
Bucket.
No.
Come on, bro.
Hey,
Willard.
that means you got to guard that too, just so you know.
Again, it's 5 other people on the team, man. It's a basketball game.
Now it's 5 other people
here
on
we
the
go.
team.
Yeah, whatever.
Now basketball is a team sport. But when I said that earlier, talking for KG, he didn't say anything about this at all. Like, boy, I tell you. Anyways, okay. Vala,
Anyway.
can I ask you? Let me ask you this before we close out. What is your outlook on the upcoming season for our Houston Texans?
Oh wow, big bounce back year.
Yeah.
And we say bounce back. You know, they were the division winners of the AFC South. CJ didn't have a great season up to his rookie standards, but the receivers that they drafted for this guy, the continuity of this coaching staff going into year 3 now with D'Amico. CJ having another year under his belt, not having a podcast tour like he did after his rookie year, which I think threw some of his focus off.
With Michael Parsons.
Stop messing with Instagram models.
I think the Texans team we have right now, just the defense alone excites me, man. And if CJ we can steady this offensive attack out a little bit more. I don't know what Nick Chubbs is going to do for our running depth. We saw, some injuries late in the season to mix him, and he's going to be, 29 or 30 years old this next season, which isn't great for running backs. I think they're still a contender, but they're not at that next tier of, the Baltimores, of the teams that we discuss seriously when it comes to February just yet. What about you guys? Are y'all still on the same level that we were last year? Have we taken another step, or are we taking a step back?
I think there's a step, but I mean, I'm kind of like you. I don't know if they're at that Baltimore Buffalo
I don't think
tier
they're a championship
yet.
team.
Kansas City tier, yeah. I don't see that. But I mean, I think that they can contend. Yeah,
I do have a
just
hot
defense
take
alone.
for y'all on this. I think that the Texans will be this year's Buffalo Bills, and I do not think the Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East. I do not. I don't. I'm taking the Patriots as we sit here today.
So you're basically saying the Texans are 1 or 2 plays away from being a Super Bowl team.
They could be, but we can't beat Baltimore and the Chiefs. We just can't. They smack us every
time.
Single time,
And it's always that they're on the road. It's always they're on the road too.
Because when it's Baltimore, we can't do nothing with Lamar. Lamar is the problem. We cannot stop him running because the way our defensive line is set up, they're meant to attack the quarterback. But when you got somebody like Lamar that can break contain, it don't even matter. And then the Chiefs, we don't have the offensive line to combat their defense. That's really the problem. But depending on matchups, if it ends up being Kansas City, Baltimore, and it's us versus whoever, we'll be in the AFC Championship game.
And who knows? Football is. We lose sight of this every offseason. Football is such an uncertain sport with injuries. You see the Texans basically get handicapped offensively, at least in the past game, with the injuries they had to their wide receiving core. Who knows what happens to Baltimore's defense? Who knows what happens to KC's defensive line? Maybe the Texans stay healthy for once, and they actually have the I don't remember. Did Azeez Al-Shaair play against Baltimore on Christmas? Because we signed.
I feel like he was suspended that game.
I don't think he did.
We signed him specifically to be that QB spy, the speed in the linebacking core, to be able to keep up with tight ends, to be able to keep up with guys like Lamar Jackson. So a healthy Texans defense. You hope Christian Harris can be healthy this year.
That's the guy.
That's another one, right? Your inside linebacker, speed and IQ, and D'Amico's guy that he took under his wing, essentially one of the defensive captains before he went out with injury. I think if they're healthy, they're right up there with all these other teams. They just don't have an X factor to me, and I don't think C.J. Stroud is that X factor. Not yet.
Nah, because in the passing game, we don't. If you take away Nico, what else is left? That's the real problem. Cause we won't have Tank. I don't think Tank's ever going to play again.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
And Stefan's gone. The new guys from Iowa State, both Iowa State receivers, which is weird. We took 2 receivers from Iowa State.
Yeah.
Both of them are rookies. What are they gonna do? We don't use Sosi enough at all. And Joe Mixon got hurt last year because we kept using him in the passing game. That's how he kept getting his ankle rolled up on.
Who's the wide receiver 2 they signed this offseason? It's what was it? A guy from Miami? I can't remember.
That sounds about right.
Because Jalen Waddle's still there. Tyreek Hill is still there. Did they sign Berrios?
No, they signed some receiver to a $30-40 million contract who's going to be their number 2 guy. I can't recall what his name was.
Because I know it's supposed to be Higgins, the rookie, but who knows how he's actually going to play. I don't remember who it was they signed at wide receiver. I don't. That's interesting. I don't remember. But I know the offensive line should be way better this year.
It's
been injury prone for 2 years.
That's the question mark right there.
And we traded Laramie in the offseason, so I don't know how they got
to the damn Commanders.
That's about 50 yards a game you get back. Every Texans game, you're waiting for the penalty. You're waiting for the false start, the multiple false starts.
But who do we have that's better?
Yeah, nobody.
That's the problem. We had a better solution. And trade Laramie. It's fine. But we don't really have a better option than left tackle. It's hard to find a left tackle.
It's so weird that, not this past season, but the season prior, their O-line was a patchwork of different guys coming in and out because of injury. and they had a better season than they did last year when they were fully healthy.
Yep.
They were the worst O-line in football fully healthy. So
were.
maybe getting rid of Tunsil and just mixing it up and throwing new guys in, you can hope that that's going to work for CJ and he can get creative.
8-ball, man. If you don't do it this year, I don't
Hey,
know what
you
to
gotta
tell
get
you,
it done
bro.
this year, bro.
You got Jair, you got Marlon Humphrey, you got Kyle Hamilton in that secondary. Y'all got Malachi Starks in that. The Baltimore Ravens should have one of the best defenses in football. They should.
This is the year to do it.
This is
8-ball.
it.
This is
it,
the year
Lamar.
to do
If
it.
you don't do it this year, that team gonna start getting broken up.
Yep.
Because at a certain point, you got to play Zay Flowers.
At some point.
Got to pay Isaiah Likely at a certain point because somebody will.
Yep. That's it right there.
And how much longer do you have Derrick Henry?
Yeah. At this level, at least.
And he just signed that extension, right?
He just did.
So
Like, this would be the year. But y'all know what it is, man. For me, rise up, baby. Year of the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr., Dark Horse MVP. I'm telling y'all now. Michael Penix is gonna light it up next year.
man, I hope so for your sake.
That's one of the most explosive. Dog, if you look at the Falcons roster
yeah.
offensively, there's no reason we shouldn't average 28 a game. No reason.
Well,
Bijan, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, Michael Penix. Like, there's no reason we shouldn't be an elite level.
y'all should have a
offense.
really good offense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all the time we have. So we're gonna sign out. I'm Evan. The homie Vala pulled up.
West, and y'all know who the real dude is. The real 2-3, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I ain't forgot that there's a LeBron fan in the room. Y'all know I wasn't going to let that slide before we got up out of here. The GOAT, Michael Jordan, forever the GOAT. The best to ever do it, ever will do it. Woo! Styling, profiling.
What was Jordan doing at 40 years old?
He was owning an NBA team.
Okay. LeBron owns all of Las Vegas.
You know what else LeBron hasn't done? 6 rings.
You know what Jordan didn't do?
6.
Popularize an entire sport in America. Shout out to all my pickleball players out there. LeBron James sees y'all.
Y'all know who made basketball a global sport? Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
I can't argue against that. Yeah.
I'm gonna end the conversation here. You know who's winning the Super Bowl, West? The Saints. All right.
Ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell.
The Saints, baby. Who that? Super
Stop
Bowl.
it. The
Percent-
Saints.
Major.
Y'all are in cap hell. We're not about to do this with the
Who
Saints.
that, baby? We
I
going
ain't
to Super
seen an
Bowl.
organization
Saints
run a
Super
cap,
Bowl.
a cap like this ever in my life.
We going to the Super. I'm just kidding. We got going on.
And y'all were negative